We got another big Class A in here. It's starting to rip the roof off. Fiberglass roof, or a Phylon roof really. Took the gutters off. This whole gutter, it was riveted on, but it's really not big enough. We're going to put bigger gutters on there, wider ones, so we can get some water to get off the roof, and I don't want it rolling all the way down to the side of the coach. You don't want to have that. So we're going to do that, and then you can see we got the air up. All that's all freed up. Antenna, we got a couple other items we got to do. And then, I don't know if somebody tried to patch this or what, but you can see all the tape he put on here to try to, if that worked, that's awesome. I don't know if it worked or not, but if it did, but you can see this is all T-lam right here. So we got to peel, when we peel all this up, we'll have to get a blower on here. That is absolutely soaked. Absolutely soaked. So that's what we're working on. You can tell that somebody put a coating on. Coatings don't last. This is what happens. They start fracturing. And when they start fracturing, the water gets in there and it starts traveling. Well, people think those coatings, you need them. And I'll tell you straight up, the RV industry will lie to you and give you all this BS, and they exploit people's ignorance to roof systems. Those coatings typically don't work on a rubber roof. There's a certain prep procedure, and it's just laborious. Typically, they have to be primed, but we don't do coatings for that reason. And I've done recovery systems on a commercial level, but I wouldn't put it on the coach at all. It's not going to stay. So but anyhow, on this roof here, this is fiberglass, but it wasn't prepped, because fiberglass will have an oxidation on it, and it's got to be thoroughly washed before, or even pickled out. And sometimes you can do that with different products to try to get rid of that chalkiness, that kind of the UV light breaks down the product. And UV light will do that with roofing too. On roofing, you get a carbon. It'll leach out the carbon. You swash your hand across it, you look at it, it's black, like that. It'll be black. And then on PVC, it feels kind of dry, and you may get some white. And the same with TPO when they start to age, on a commercial level. But like I said, we don't do any coatings here. Just letting you know, I would not recommend putting a coating on a coach. It's just a waste of money. It really is. And it's for the time involved and everything. At that point, if you really think you need to put a coating on it, you really need a roof. Put a good roof on it. So the roof systems that we do, you wash them down a couple of times a year. You don't have to put a coating on them. You don't have to do anything. You bring them back to us, and we will take care of the roof. It's that simple. It's a 20-year commercial membrane that we put down, so you're not going to have any issues with it. And that's based on a 20-year being out in the weather, outside. These are usually under a tree or someplace parked where it's somewhat cooler, in the shade. So, well, let us get to work. I'm showing you, just giving you an update, but we got to peel all this off, and then once we get all this off, we'll show you what's underneath. Well, obviously, we'll redeck it. We got some other stuff that he wanted us to do as well. All right, get to work. I believe when I opened this video up, I said that was a fiberglass roof, and it's not a fiberglass roof. It was a membrane. We peeled it up. I don't know why I said fiberglass, but anyhow, maybe I need more sleep. You can see all the T-lam, so we're going to, but it's still wet. There's a lot of wet areas, so we're going to get our blowers on here. We're going to dry this out first before we do it. It's a lot easier. Then once we do that, then we'll strip all this nonsense off. You can see, especially, I'll walk over there and show you. We got some other issues over there. The refrigerators, when you put them together, when they go in, let me get around you there. When you put them in, they need to have proper ventilation. They're just not going to perform right. But you can see all the mess here. So this is what I'm talking about right here. So the air needs to come right up. So really the back of the coil should be here, so it could just radiate properly. But it's way back there. So what we're going to have to do is cut this on just like a 45-degree angle, so the air can actually come up. Because right now it's just getting impeded. It has to come up and then radiate over. And that's just not a good flow. It just impedes the performance of the refrigerator. So
you need to have a board across there.
Yeah, and then also if you don't, then the hot air will even tend to go that way. So we're going to block that section off, and that section there. Same on this side. Cut this so all that air just can come right out when we'll get released. So that's something we're working on there. And then, but these are all the things you're going to find out with us. You're going to find it out without anybody else who doesn't do the roof systems like we do. Can you imagine spraying over this roof? I'm not a proponent for that. because it just doesn't solve the problem. You don't know what's underneath here. Let's rip it up. Let's find out what's going on. It's been on here for many years, especially when you have water damage like this. There was a video I watched on YouTube where this Class C had the leaks, and he says, I'm going to finally fix this thing. Now, that may even be the title to it. And so they sprayed it. But all the leaks were coming from on the Class C. It was the bunk that went around. So they sprayed it, and he checks it, and he says, see, there's no water coming through here now. We got a good storm the other day. Well, what about all the water that was still trapped in there? What are you going to do with that? Doesn't make sense. You still get damage in there. If you do not open these coaches up and dry them out, they will never dry. They will not dry, and you're going to end up getting mold and everything inside there. But so, you know, I just put a comment on there that if you got nothing good to say, don't say anything at all. But that's why I just get, you know, you have a lot of people that watch these YouTube channels, and these guys get on there and say, hey, this is the right way to do it, and it's not. It's not the right way to do it. One guy, I watched him use all that dyed core, and he said, that you don't use dyed core. That stuff's junk. It's, I'm not a proponent of dyed core at all. You don't get a caulking that fails in 3 to 4 months. He claims you don't have to. He's been doing it for 27 years, and that's just, you know, the cream of the crop to him. But, you know, he, I don't know, maybe he gets a kickback from dyed core or something, or maybe people, when they fail, he says, yeah, bring it back so I can redo your coach every 3 to 4 months. That's what I'm getting at. I don't want to have to redo them again. The system we do, this is all going to be a commercial roof. You imagine have to do that on a commercial roof, go back and reseal it every few months? That'd be crazy. It wouldn't be cost effective. So, well, that's what we're going to do, dry it all off. We're going to fix this mess, and then we're going to, once it's dry, it's a lot easier to strip all that. And then I'm going to mold kill it for sure, and then I'm going to mold kill it yet again for sure, so give it 2 strikes on it. And then after I get all that done, then we'll start trying to peel up what comes up, what doesn't. What does come up, well, we're going to redeck it anyways. So I don't know what I'm redecking it with. A lot of people say, what are you going to redeck it with? This shoulder makes the difference. This shoulder on here is really, it's going to be hard to get a piece of plywood up inside here. See, like you try to really stress this out, what do you got there? You don't even have 3/8. So now by the time you put your sheathing on there, then I put the roofing on there, and you know, we put a protective layer on there, you got very little room. So we may end up just going back over this with 1/4 inch Luan possibly, or even 1/8 inch, I don't know, but that's what determines it, because that shell is not moving. That's a done deal, and I don't want to go over it with the sheathing, because then you'll have a bump there, and that'll look terrible. So I'm not going to do that either. So my main concern is that it's structurally sound, and the sheathing is kind of irrelevant at a point where this is basically a ply foam roof. So what a ply foam roof is, you see all that white foam in there? That is basically what comprises ply foam. Underneath that bottom piece right there, that's the ceiling, and then obviously you got your roof deck with another 1/8 inch sheet. And once it's all sealed together, it's really a strong system. It really is. It's a good system. I like it. But once water gets in it, it can tend to fail. So we've got some water intrusion there. We've got another spot over here, a couple spots down there. So the whole deck isn't ruined, just a couple areas. So we may be able to go in, do some surgery over here, cut that piece out, and then laminate a new piece in all that rotted area, and then skin over it with another piece of 1/8 inch, which would definitely fit up underneath there, and I could probably work with that. But like you said, coming around the rest of it, probably not so much, but I would have to get something underneath it to elevate that, and then I could put the roofing on top of that, front fascia. That could happen. It's not a big deal either way. It's all going to get sealed, so it wouldn't matter. But you just have to have protective strips and everything down there, because these things rack and twist and flex. That's why I put them all across. If you watch the other videos, you would know, but since you're watching this one, you'll see before you watch another video, I'm guessing. All right, so now we get the blowers, and now it's just a waiting game. Well, we got this side. There's the driver's side. We've already got it glued. You see all the new sheathing we get down there, and you can see the sheen on the deck and also on the roofing. That's the glue. We're waiting for it to, what we call, flash off, and then we'll roll it, and we'll put the do the other side, the passenger side. But you see we got all our buffer strips in here. That's what all those are. And then we got new shoulders all the way down the side. We glued those shoulders down. That's a common problem with these shoulders, is that the manufacturers don't glue them down. They just staple them down, and then they work loose. But we took the time to actually glue them down. So we did both sides. They're all glued. So I don't want them coming up. So we're going to wait for this to flash off, and then we'll roll it. All right, now what we're doing is we're trying to roll this big sheet up. Then we go and cut everything out. All right, now what we're doing, we're running across with a big heavy roller. We're gonna pack her down, pack her down. You can see all our nice protective strips. I like that. It's sharp, sharp. Coming together. As my mentor Hannibal Smith on the 18 used to say, I love it when a plan comes together. All right, we are done. We are done with this big old machine here. So you can see we got our logo on the back, month, and the year that we got it completed. That's so we can keep track of how the roof performs, or even if you want to sell it and someone come up and say, oh, these RV roofs are all a mess, you know, I'm gonna have to replace them, want to talk them down, then you can say, hey, I just had that put on there, whatever. So we got new gutters on here, and everything's all double sealed. Everything we do is all double sealed, so meaning double caulked. And then we've got a insert trim. We took out that cheesy stuff and put in the good stuff. This insert trim snaps in and over, so it keeps all the water out. See, we got our stands in the back. We got everything all flashed in, all heat welded in, and then we got a piece of counter flash on the front, so when the water comes down this way, I don't want it running back into the foam gasket that's underneath there, so that's why we put that on there. When you go up on the underside there's usually a corrugation on the bottom of the frame there, the bottom of the pan, and the water doesn't travel that way, it'll just wash right out. Well, you can see we got everything all heat welded in, all here. And now we don't have covers on here because the covers that he had, you can't open it up high enough for it to work, so we didn't put them on. They really need to have 12-inch covers because those are both power fans. So let's see, go down this way. Look at this funky thing, huh? This is a satellite dish, is portable, I guess. So we made this custom stand up. And then what you do, if you want to take this off, say you're somewhere and you need to, you're not getting the reception you want, then I guess you can take it stationary somewhere else. And then you just pop this pin out. And then there's a little latch right here. I've never seen one of these before. And then you can pick the whole thing up and it opens up. So that's pretty cool. That's what you want it on there. So we made this base for him. So this way, if he did want to do that, all he has to do is, just come up here and he can put it back in. Set it right back. Just hook coaxes up. So. And then we did the same thing on the Winegard. That's a Winegard automatic. I like those because if you ever have any issues with them, you could just undo those couple of bolts. There's 3 bolts, got 3 feet, one there, and one on the opposite side. So you can just undo those 3 with a 1/2-inch wrench, and then undo the coax. And if a tree branch clips it or if it fails, then you can just replace it real easy. And then we also replaced all these lights right up in here. Those are all corroded. We did the same for the back. So this thing's ready to go. Now keep in mind, these are not DIY videos, and I have a slew of people just trying to ask me a whole bunch of questions, and I hate to say it, I just don't have time for them all. So, but they're not DIY videos. That's why they're not monetized. These videos are for our customers to look at and see all the work we did for them. And if you're getting any tips out of it, great. But there's not much else we can say. Like I said, and I don't mean to be rude about it, but I have a lot of guys shooting me some emails, and I have them ask me questions on the channel. And like I said, I just simply do not have time to answer them all. So, and I also don't want to, there's a lot going on when you put these together. And a lot of guys think, hey, I've done construction, I can do it. It's not quite that easy. So if you don't follow the process or understand the process, then it's going to fail. And I don't want you pointing the finger at me saying, gee whiz, that guy doesn't know what he's doing. So for that reason, like I said, we really shy on, trying to give information out and how this goes together and how that goes together. Like I said, we just don't want anybody to have any issues and then again point it to us. There's a lot of steps that it takes to put these together. I've put on commercial roofs quicker than I've put on these camper roofs, and that's a fact. So, but anyhow, so that's our roof right there. And we do appreciate you watching, but like I said, that's why they're not monetized. I didn't want to have all the commercials in there. It's just not worth it, and so the customer can really watch the video themselves. So All right, well, let me close this out here, and like you said, we'll see you on the next one.